Hi guys, how you doing? My name is Nathan Hacker. In case you don't know me, I'm an award-winning filmmaker, and I just want to share a little bit about stop motion today with you. So I'm currently studying at the New York Film Academy, and I just wanted to let you know that I'm studying stop motion and doing a stop motion internship. So I've had a fair share of experience doing stop motion films. If you've seen the Death Monster that I made, you know kind of my style. So I just wanted to let you guys know a little bit about the behind the scenes process of making stop motion films. So what is stop motion? Stop motion is basically a playback of all these different frames in a sequence to make the image and the illusion of movement. And that's pretty cool. It's kind of hard to wrap your mind around, but it's basically like the camera you're watching me through right now. It's recording me at 23.95 frames per second. And if you don't know what that means now, that's okay. I didn't know what it meant either. But basically, it's 24 pictures per second, which is pretty amazing. And that's what you could do in the stop motion world as well. You have lower frame rates that are pretty cool to play with and can give you a poppier, more robot chicken-y vibe. Or you could do 24 frames per second, which is like a major motion picture, kind of like what Leica does or Aardman Animations. And they adjust the frame rates, which is pretty crazy in all of these productions. And they don't just shoot at one frame rate for the most part. They kind of adjust things and cheat things. If you want to learn more about frame rates, I have this cool old camera that I could show you how frame rates work. So, this is the super sexy Yashica Super 40 Super 8 camera. It makes me feel like a man when I hold it. And it's just awesome. But it has a really cool feature on it, which is the frame rate button. So right here, check it out. There's a little switch that shoots from 24 to 18. By changing those frame rates, you can hear the difference. Ready? This is 24. This is 18. So 18 is a lot slower, and that makes sense because it's 18 frames per second instead of 24. So this is a cool example of what I like to show people when I'm explaining stop motion and frame rates. There we go. Okay, when it comes to stop motion, you basically need three things. Yeah, just three things. So you need a subject. This could be you, like me at the beginning of this video in the intro. That's called pixelation, when you actually use human beings as puppets, which is pretty cool. Or it's also known as politics. So you don't need to have a puppet or clay to make a stop motion film. You could just use your body, which everybody got one of those. You could also use a puppet. You could use clay to make your puppet. You could use wire armatures or wire to bend little skeletons to make your puppet move and bend. That's known as an armature. You could use toys, you can use action figures, you can use anything that you have at your disposal. Cans, chairs, lights, anything you can have, which is pretty amazing. So your options are limitless. The second thing you need for stop motion is a camera. So you must buy at least $1,000 camera for... What? You don't want to buy $1,000? Okay, well, you could always use your phone. There's a ton of stop motion apps out there. If you just Google it on the App Store or the Play Store, stop motion apps, you'll find something pretty amazing. And I've never really used the stop motion apps recently, so they could have changed. The ones that I used in the past, I don't know if you could export the video file at the end of it, which was kind of a bummer, but now you can. And I have a good friend of mine who did a short film all on his iPhone and submitted that for class, and it was pretty amazing. So the sky's the limit for what you can do with your iPhone. Now the third thing you're gonna need for stop motion filmmaking is a tripod or a good steady place to set your camera, tape it down, lock it down so you don't move it. And although I love camera movements and live action cinematic stuff, it's a lot harder to pull off stop motion camera movements, but it's not impossible. So if you're feeling a little bit adventurous, take it off the tripod and maybe just move the camera a little bit each time, each frame, and then you can get a really cool cinematic camera movement. So you don't have to lock down your camera, but it's highly recommended if you're doing the shot like I did at the beginning, or you don't want to do camera movements. And what's cool is if you do a camera movement that's locked off on the tripod, you could always add like a Ken Burns effect or a zoom in effect, and you don't even have to move your camera to do that. You just do that in editing. So the sky is pretty much the limit for making stop motion films nowadays, and I'm really excited to see what you guys are going to come up with. Now, some other things that are nice to have but are not needed could be an editing software like Dragon Frame that's specifically for stop motion. It's relatively inexpensive considering it's an industry standard program, and you have it for life. It's one-time payment, it's not a subscription plan like other programs, and it's what the professionals are using, which is really amazing. And it has a whole bunch of great features. I don't even know all of them. I'm trying to learn them all. So definitely check that one out if you're really serious about stop motion, but definitely to get your feet wet, just do the applications on your smartphone, because that's the way to start. I actually started with a little point and shoot camera that my mom had, and she would get really angry because I'd use up all the pictures and memory space on her SD cards, and she'd go to take a picture and it'd be full, and she's like, "What the heck, Nathan, why do you take so many pictures?" I'm like, "Stop motion, Mom." And then she's like, "Oh, I understand." Anyways, that's my childhood. But nowadays it's so easy to do stop motion, there's really no excuses. to just get started and do it. And editing software is probably essential if just regardless for video editing in general. Also, a wireless keypad or a controller doesn't have to be wireless, can be wired. This came with Dragon Frame, the new version, and it's wireless and I love it, and you could be anywhere in the room and just take pictures, which is pretty amazing. This is also for smartphones. This is really cool. You could just Bluetooth connect it to your smartphone, take pictures wirelessly so you don't have to touch the camera. Because the more times you touch the camera, the more likely you are to bump it, and then that could jank up your footage. You don't want janky footage. So definitely check those out. I also have a remote that I use for time lapses. When I first started, you just plug it right into your camera and then use that as the clicker. But before that, all throughout the entire beginning of the Death Monster, the first episode, I used it just with my hand. I would take the picture with my hand and make sure I was very careful not to bump the camera, and it worked out pretty good. So don't let anybody tell you need to buy these things in order to make something. Use what you have and go out and make great stuff. Make sure that you don't bump your camera. Make sure that you have good power or a charged battery in your camera. And just make sure you have fun too, and experiment and enjoy things. Play with different frame rates and see how they work. You could slow down or speed up your footage depending on which frame rate you choose and which look you like. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Please subscribe for more videos and let me know down in the comments what you want to see next, regards with stop motion or any other film in the future. And I'm really excited to share more about the behind the scenes process with you, with short films and stop motion and anything else. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, definitely check my Instagram out. It's at Nate Hacks. I'll post it right here and it'll also be in the description, as well as the Death Monster Instagram. It's really cool, posting a lot of stop motion stuff on that one and just in general behind the scenes stuff. So definitely check out those two Instagrams. And also, if you make anything stop motion related, I want to see it. So definitely tag me on Instagram and I'd love to see your work and I'll give you feedback. You could give me feedback too and we could all learn together. So thank you guys again so much for watching. Please subscribe. And until next time, stay kind and do good. Talk to you later.